What's the Nintendo Switch 2 like? Well, I've been playing it for a whole day, let me tell you. I got to play the Nintendo Switch 2, which comes out June 5th for $450. And I played it in New York for hours and hours with Bridget Carey. We got into every single game that we could get our hands on, and we looked at a lot of the hardware features. So, what's the big deal? Well, it is an iterative upgrade compared to the Nintendo Switch, and it felt that way when I was playing it, in the sense that it's not a tremendous surprise, but it definitely feels a lot better than the previous Switches. Now, I played things like the Steam Deck and PlayStation Portal, which requires connection to a PlayStation 5, but I got spoiled by bigger, nicer screens and better controls and compatibility with a lot of games like Elden Ring. The Switch 2 is now shining in that category with a lot of boosted graphics that will up their own games, but also work with a lot of new games that are coming to the system. The first thing I noticed when I held the system is that it's actually not that much bigger than a Switch. It kind of feels like a slightly expanded version of the OLED. Bridget Carey said it did feel bigger, but also I've been playing on a Steam Deck for a while, so it's actually thinner than the Steam Deck. It feels like the same thickness as the original Switch and Switch OLED, but it does feel heavier, denser. The Joy-Cons are a little bigger. It's much nicer to magnetically detach them. Although you have to press this little release button on the side to do it. Kind of a good idea though, because it means it's locked in. There's no way it's going to detach, it seems like. The other thing is that the display is really nice. It's 7.9 inches, 1080p. I played Tears of the Kingdom on it, and I thought, okay, this is how I want to play Tears of the Kingdom. It felt a lot more expansive, and it reminded me again of PlayStation Portal, which is a 1080p 8-inch display, and it makes those types of big screen games feel nice. I feel like Elden Ring and games like that are going to really shine on it. And the other thing that's fascinating about this, which we didn't get to play a ton of, but we got to use camera features on, is the chat type camera connectivity. Now let's split those up a bit. There is a camera that's sold for $50 separately that allows you to interact with some games with the camera, particularly Mario Party Jamboree. We got to dance around and translate ourselves into the game for this ridiculous stuff. Totally felt like a throwback to Microsoft Kinect, PlayStation Eye, and all these things from 15 years ago, but updated, which also has a lot of things that work with the Joy-Cons. More on that in a sec. But there's also chat. Nintendo is making a big deal of the C button, which enters a chat mode for your friends that also may happen to have a Switch 2. But we didn't see any demos of that here, so I have nothing really to say about that. The games we got to play really showed off a lot of different things. Now, first of all, the big technical demo, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, looked stellar. It was showing off 120 hertz gameplay in 1080p, but the way it looked and the crispness of the graphics was that type of next-gen leap you'd expect on Nintendo. There's also a lot of stuff that Nintendo does with a new mouse mode on the Joy-Cons. These turn into optical mice when you lay them down on a table and move your hand around like this. You could use one or you could use both. We had a lot of games where we were doing all sorts of stuff like this. There's actually a game called Drag and Drive, which is a new game that kind of felt like ARMS meets Rocket League, where we were moving a wheelchair around and competing and shooting hoops. It was very tiring. I have a lot of respect for people who do actual sports, but there's a lot of movement here, and you also, I think, need a lot of space, which brings up the question, are we gonna have like a Switch table or like a lap desk or a mouse pad? Because Nintendo was showing off these demos with a nice table surface and a big sort of felty mouse pad area, which made it really useful. I think you're gonna have to find your own surface if you're gonna play games like this. Same thing with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which switches between a standard controller mode and you can just seamlessly put it down and turn it into a mouse, which I love for the fast reaction time. Now, Nintendo has a kind of tutorial game experience, the most wacky thing they're doing, which is like a tour of the Switch 2. That game is not built into the Switch 2, which is a little surprising, because I think they should have, but it's being sold separately for a price I don't know yet. But that is kind of like your little discovery of little features. There are actually a lot of tech demos, so we got to see how HDR works, because this is an HDR display, and it does HDR on televisions. It's a mild upgrade. You'd have to really keep your eye out for it. And it shows off some of the frame rate advantages. The Switch 2 can do up to 120 hertz this time, and it can do 4K on a TV. But sometimes it swaps out those modes. It might go down to 1080p at 120 hertz, or on the Switch, it might drop from 1080p to 720p for a higher refresh rate, depending on the game. The haptics feel a lot more rumbly and punchy than on the Switch, which we got to see in a couple of different games. Haptics is the rumbling feeling you get on your Joy-Cons or in a game system. The Switch already has pretty good rumble effects, but this one is even bolder, I would say. There were some demos where they showed shaking a maraca and spinning the little beads around. Tried a Mario Party Jamboree game where you could roll back a little car with the mouse and you could feel the clicks as the car revved up. Same thing with some of the other games where we could feel little clicking effects. In the game where we were wheeling around, you got this kind of feedback. Nintendo's also dangling another extra. With Switch Online Plus, the extra package, you get GameCube compatibility now for a lot of retro games. A handful to start, but we played a little bit of Wind Waker and a little bit of F-Zero GX, which I used to love. Still really fun. There's also a GameCube controller that they're selling, of course. Also, I didn't even mention that there's a Switch Pro controller, which feels pretty much like the original Switch Pro controller with paddle buttons, and now finally a headphone jack. There's also a new adjustable kickstand. I play with it a tiny bit. It goes to a lot of angles, but it's made of plastic. It flexes a little bit. I'll see how that works as we do a full review. A lot of the rest of the experience on the Switch 2 just feels like a better Switch. This is trying to split the difference between TV consoles and handhelds. And when you look at the landscape right now, there's still a bit of a gap. We play some games like Split Fiction, which is a great co-op game that you can play on PS5 and Xbox. It was playable on the Switch too. I think the performance and the frame rate were not that great from what I saw. And I wonder how many games are gonna have a little bit of that challenge still, even on the better graphics. Some of the other games that we've got to talk about, Mario Kart Tour and Donkey Kong Bonanza. These are the two big exclusives. Mario Kart Tour, which is a launch game, is a first new Mario Kart game in forever. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was not a new game, it was just an updated game. And this is a free open world Mario Kart. It was a lot of fun to play, although I just kind of didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was just wandering off in different directions, driving to discover stuff. I'm curious how many surprises there are going to be in this game, because you can just keep driving, and there's a stadium, there's like a farm. I'm driving through a fence, and now I'm just like going down this ramp. And we also played a knockout mode, which had us going like a death rally, surviving across a whole bunch of locations to the finish. And Donkey Kong Bonanza is the first like open world Donkey Kong in a long time, since like the N64 days. And you're running around this big world, feels like a Mario game, but that game comes out in July, and I think a lot of kids are gonna wanna play that too. There's no new big 3D Mario game yet, and there's no new Zelda game, although there is a new Hyrule Warriors game, so that's kind of a new Zelda game, but it's not the same thing. So that's the stuff we got to try here on a very long day, and I still have a lot of questions. I mean, how is this gonna play over longer periods of time? What does that chat feature feel like? How much am I really gonna use that mouse? How good are the Switch 2 editions going to be? And am I gonna be cheering like everyone down the hall when I play at home with my kids with the camera? The Switch 2 comes out June 5th. We'll have a review then, and we have a lot of questions and thoughts before then, so keep watching.